Okay, guys, welcome to In the Mind of Tony Potts plus the Madman Mark Miller, doing a recruiting recap for this year's NCAA college football season.
Post-signing day.
How crazy was it on Wednesday?
It was unbelievable.
First things first, you got to talk about, probably without a doubt, the best class, the University of Alabama. Wow. How does the rich keep getting richer?
Well, when you win national championships every other year, it's kind of hard to recruit against that. They know they're going to get there. They know they're going to get their chance to play for a championship and have a ring.
Who in the Alabama class do you see with the biggest upside?
Well, that's a hard call.
For me, it's Mack Wilson, the outside linebacker.
He's a spectacular linebacker. You know he's going to step in. He's going to play for day one. And that's very difficult to do at Alabama. This will be one of the rare guys that doesn't sit on the bench for 2 years to get his turn.
What is Nick Saban? Obviously, Kirby Smart left. They said Kirby Smart was an ace recruiter from Alabama, but yet Nick Saban keeps grabbing these players. What does he tell these kids?
It's the same thing that if you're Bill Belichick in the NFL, that you're telling people that are free agents in the NFL. You can go play for them, and they may put together something spectacular, or you can come here and know you're going to play for a championship at some point.
Another team that had a really good recruiting class this year was Florida State. I know you hate Florida State.
Oh, I know.
But I'll tell you, Jimbo Fisher pulls the five stars.
Well.
What is it about Tallahassee? Obviously, it's not the city.
No, because it's not really a nice place to live. There are some advantages. They have FAMU right down the road. That doesn't hurt. That's almost an entirely female college. Doesn't hurt recruiting at all. But again, you've got a team that plays for championships. If you can parade rings out in front of recruits, you've got championships. You've got how many players in the NFL that you put in there. That makes a big difference. Really, the thing that has leaped out to me at this is the more things change, the more they stay the same. With all of the coaching rotation in the SEC, with some uncertainty with Ole Miss and possible NCAA sanctions, you still ended up 6 of the top 12 teams in almost every recruiting source out there are SEC teams. This is why it's the best conference in football.
Forget the conference. Look at the division of the West. You have Alabama, you have Ole Miss, you have LSU. On top of Auburn coming with a huge class, Nate Craig Myers, Derek Brown out of Georgia. Auburn came up despite having a terrible year, should have losing to Jacksonville State, barely made a bowl game, but yet they still had a huge class, on top of a new defensive coordinator in the third year.
And you're talking about Auburn and LSU. Think about these two items. You've got at Auburn a coaching staff that you know good and well. If they come in with another 7-7 type year, he's gone. You've got LSU that was within 24 hours of firing Les Miles this year. If he goes 8-4, he's out. That yet these recruits came in, listened to the story, still believed what they were being told, and still believe these coaches will be there for their 4-year in either one of those cities.
And then on the east side, obviously Florida and Georgia kind of were the cream of the crop for these. Georgia had a couple of big signees, but they lost a couple of guys they thought they would get. One being the top player in the state, Derek Brown, decided to go to Auburn. 2, E.J. Price, one of the top offensive linemen, decided to go to USC. Hear a couple of things about that, about possibly Graves not being involved.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
One of the things about Derek Brown, don't know if you heard or not, but the insiders are saying that Brown's mama never wanted him to go to Georgia because when Coach Rick was there, he always called her by the wrong name, and that kind of set the things rolling. And I spoke.
You've got to win the parents.
I spoke with you a couple of months ago when I got to meet Derek Brown. He was never surefire Georgia.
No.
Does that hurt Georgia, or are they okay with a Trent Thompson? Are they?
No, you've got enough talent. And here's the thing with Georgia is, and this was the case when Mark Richt was there, and this is why you were winning 10 games a year. As long as you're bringing in top 10 level classes year after year after year, you've got no glaring holes in your lineup. You look at a team like Ole Miss, who comes out 3 years ago, jumps up with top class in the country with Quan Treadwell, Jeremy Tunsil, and Robert Ngitchi, and they were elite players. And look what it did for them. But it also left them with holes throughout their lineup because the next year's class wasn't the same level, and the year after that wasn't the same level. You've got to recruit at a high level year in and year out.
Absolutely. And on top of that, Florida had a pretty good class. They lost a couple of guys last
They did. On signing day, we lost a few. Florida State came in. That is one little area that is interesting in that we were talking about that earlier tonight with some friends. I don't know if you saw that Brad Lawing, one of the assistant coaches at FSU, foolishly got in front of a camera and said that they had told Shaver Manuel, the defensive tackle, to lie to Florida for the last 3 weeks and tell them he was coming to Florida. Actually admitted that in front of a camera.
Wow.
I find that shocking that you would do that. I would like to think that our coaching staff or our athletic director would remove a coach that did that openly from our staff.
Now, what happens, in your opinion, next year? What team filled the holes, in your opinion, minus Alabama, who's returning back? What team filled enough holes to take the next step forward?
Here's where I've seen the SEC. What if the last couple of years, what's the knock you've heard on the SEC? Is the quarterback play has been horrendous. And there's been a lot of truth to that. There were no elite quarterbacks really in our league. What you saw come in is 3 of the top quarterbacks in the country came into the SEC. One went to Ole Miss and Shea Patterson. One went to Georgia and Jacob Easley. And one went to Florida and Felipe Franks. Whichever one of those quarterbacks makes the quickest rise to being able to step onto the playing field and actually contribute, I think that's where you'll see this class make its biggest effect.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
You've got to have no quarterback play in this league.
Well, we got about, 45 days to spring date, and another like 5-6 months to kickoff.
It'll be here before you know it. I look at what the SEC did. This is why Southeastern Conference is the elite conference in the country. As long as they out-recruit every other conference, it's going to remain this way.
For Mark Miller, I'm Tony Potts. Thanks for joining us in this week's Recruiting Recap.